Ooh, that's clear. Yes.
So clear.
What's up, world?
What's up, world? What's going on, champions?
Welcome back to the second episode of Bitcoin and Bourbon. You hear me? Where we sip on assets and we talk about assets. You hear me? But before we go any further, before we even introduce ourselves, right? I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, hit that bell. Bing! Because you want to be notified. You got to be notified when we giving y'all these real jewels. But in the meantime, right, I'm Bitcoin Block, I'm sorry, aka Crypto Jones. I'm with my brother, my Cryptopian.
They call me Coach MJ the Sat Stacker.
And today, right, we got a beautiful. Today we're gonna talk about banks. For one, we're gonna talk about banks and we're gonna talk about Bitcoin. We're gonna talk about basically being your own bank. But before we go any further, right, I want y'all to understand this, right? I got Debanked, and we're gonna get straight into it, right? I got Debanked. For a lot of people that don't know what Debanked is, right, it's when your bank, I was with them 6-7 years, they basically sent me a letter in the mail and said, we done with you. But prior to them debanking me, right, I gotta say this, like, they was already giving me forewarning, but in my mind, this one I knew my money wasn't mine. I went in there one day, hey, Mr. Sperling, you're making a lot of purchases to Coinbase, and you can't do that. And it's crazy when they said that, I was flabbergasted. I was really like, whoa. My money, I went into a spiel where I was angry, I was aggressive, I was very, very aggressive, but I had to calm down because I realized, right, where I was in something way earlier than they was. So I wasn't tripping. This went on for 2 to 3 years, people. This went on for 2 to 3 years where I was just getting calls. Mr. Sperling, do you have invoices for your? Yes, I showed everything. I showed them invoices, taxes. I paid taxes for my company. But what it was I was in a situation, I was in a technology way earlier than they was. Because I'm quite sure y'all seen the news. Banks are now, they custody, they allowed to sell it to you now. So, hold on, I forgot what we were sipping to. Gotta tell you
what she's saying. Okay. Go ahead, finish.
So basically now, banks are allowed, when you go to the bank, you got money in the bank, don't be surprised if they try to tell you, for your 401k, Bitcoin, crypto, I got rid of my 401k, but that's for another, basically like, I'm my own bank now, and I will not down talk this bank because they did me good. I was with them for 6-7 years. Only reason I won't down talk them is because they didn't know. I knew, he knew. But I'm just basically telling people like this, right? It's gonna be a lot of y'all. A couple of my friends got debanked, but I want you to understand this, right? That ain't the end of the tunnel. When you get debanked, right, you gotta look at it, it's a blessing in disguise. My whole goal was to be my own bank. I didn't care about them. You hear me? If I put 10,000 in the bank Monday, Thursday I decided to go take it out. You think I could take that 10,000 out Thursday and get that? No. It's gonna take about 7-8 days. You're gonna go through so many trials and tribulations just to get your money. Not with Bitcoin. Tell them, Marty. Not with Bitcoin.
Before I tell you, actually we've only sipping on some Weller Antiques, the red label.
Really?
So Weller has several different labels: green, red here, blue, black. I got the 12-year over here in the collection. White. There's an orange label. Weller. Weller is one of my absolute favorite bourbons to sip on, especially the green label. And it's a really inexpensive
I love
bourbon. Very, very good bourbon, especially if somebody's just starting out in the game. So that's what we're gonna sip on as we. That's the bourbon we're gonna sip on as we talk Bitcoin. Cheers to health and wealth. So it's funny because we were at the Bitcoin conference, and it was Eric Trump. He was on stage. Love or hate the Trumps. We're not diving into politics, okay? This is just about the context of what's taking place in the landscape. And he was talking about how they got debanked, all right? Big time businessmen, multi-millionaires, they got debanked, and it was because of their political reasons. So there's a multitude of reasons why a person could get debanked. But when you go through that experience, that's what led them down to getting into and looking into to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as an alternative. So everybody will have their reason, as to why you look into Bitcoin, why you get into Bitcoin. I am just shocked. Here's what I'm shocked at, Block. I am totally shocked by the number of people that have not shown interest in Bitcoin.
Wow.
I am totally flabbergasted, and this is something I'm actually going to talk about in more detail on my YouTube channel, SATS, S-A-T-S, and Success, where on that channel I dive into all things Bitcoin, crypto, finance, and personal growth related. So make sure you go to YouTube and check that out. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your bell notifications so you are notified when the new content drops. But I am so flabbergasted by the number of people who've not taken interest. See, there's different. Anytime the technology comes to fruition, comes to light, there's several different phases.
Right.
And the first phase of anything is awareness, right? Like you are aware of it.
Right.
And of course, today more people are aware of Bitcoin today. Then it's hard. You'd be hard pressed to ask somebody, "Hey, have you heard of Bitcoin?" And they say no. Rewind a few years ago, yeah, a lot of people are like, "I don't know what that is." But today, that people are aware. So you move from the awareness phase to the interest phase, right? Where you're like, "Okay, I'm aware of it," and then in the interest phase, you start to do a little homework yourself.
Yes.
And here's the reason why. Don't miss this, people. Do not miss what I am about to say. I'm going to pause so you can maybe even have somebody. I'm going to pause and take a sip. Tell somebody, get online right now, log in, do that, send somebody a text, whatever it is, tell them get on right now, because what I'm about to say, you don't want to miss. So let me take a quick sip.
And before you come back, right, I want y'all to understand this too, right? When I had went to the bank, the reason, imagine when they sent me the letter, I just want to clear this up. They never gave me a definitive reason until I went in and asked them. And guess what they told me when I went in and asked them? They said, "Sir, you had a lot of money being sent to Coinbase." That was the reason. So look, when I sat the man, they called the higher upper person. This man told me on the phone. I'm just sitting there like, wow. So I said, "You basically telling me I can't do nothing I want with my money?" "Sir, we're not telling you that. They said they gave me the option to stay with the bank. They said this: open up another bank, go to another bank, open up another account, buy crypto through that. Keep our bank as conservative funds." And I'm like, that ain't what I do with money. I don't just let money sit. I invest. But I'm gonna let my brother keep going.
So going back, when you adopt new technology, there's different phases. There's the awareness phase, there's the interest phase, there's the evaluation phase, there's the trial phase. Everybody's aware of Bitcoin and crypto. Everybody, okay? Unless you're like, my grandmother, she's 94 years old, right? She'll never get Bitcoin and crypto. She doesn't need to at this point in her life. But I'm surprised, I am totally baffled by the number of people who are not shown interest. 95% of all Bitcoin is in circulation. Only 5% of it has been adopted. Only 5% adoption.
What?
Only 5. Did y'all hear what I just said? Only 5% of the world has adopted it. And here's why I'm flabbergasted. Here's why I am baffled. Here's why my jaw drops and hits the floor. Because there are a lot of people in the world that have a money issue. I'm gonna say that again. There are a lot of people in the world whose money is funny. There's a lot of people in the world that have a money problem, and Bitcoin fixes it.
Fixes it. It's war going on.
Bitcoin fixes it. We have a mantra, us Bitcoiners: fix the money, fix the world. Fix the money, fix the world. If you look at a lot of the problems that's taking place on Earth today, a lot of it is attached to money, the broken money, the broken monetary system, and Bitcoin fixes it. And so if there is a thing out there that solves and fixes your money problem, why would you not be interested in it?
Because most people, and I think this right, and I want people to understand this right, it's not a scam. Every opportunity presented to you is not a scam, people. I can vouch for it, but I want people to understand this too, though, right? When it comes to investing, I understand that it's hard, but the main thing with investing is, right, if you ain't consistent, you ain't disciplined, you ain't patient, maybe this ain't for you. For real. If you ain't consistent, disciplined, and patient, maybe investing ain't for you. But if investing ain't for you, you want to keep being distracted for the rest of your life? When I say distracted, right, and I mean that, like, do y'all see what's going on in the world? I understand this war. That's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
I understand Diddy going to trap. That's a distraction. I understand the NBA. Those are distractions. And what I tell y'all the last time, what a distraction do? A distraction don't lead you into nothing but debt. That's how distractions do. Because that's the world. The elites are accumulating. Like, I'm accumulating.
So if I go back to what I just said, Block, Crypto Jones, if 95% of Bitcoin is already in circulation, and only that's going over some of y'all head, man. Hey, catch this. If 95% is in circulation and 5% of the world has adopted it, who owns it all? Who?
Come on, that's simple math. That's 95%.
Bitcoin is people money. This is for the people. This ain't for the wealthy elites, and that's who buying it right now. They have went through the different phases of being aware of it, trying to fight it, okay, and then becoming interested, and then evaluating it. That they've gone through these phases. They've gone through the phases, and then they've gone through the trial. They have gone through these phases, and this is exactly what you should be doing, right now.
Right now.
The best thing that you can do for your life and your family is to go to bitcoin.org and go read the white paper. It's an 8-page paper, and it tells you what Bitcoin is, plain and simple. It may go over your head the first time you read it again. It's a very quick, short read, but go over the white paper and see what Bitcoin is. And I'm gonna tell you what, when you read it, you say, oh wow. But as you start to study Bitcoin, like I've studied Bitcoin over the years, I have hundreds of thousands of hours of studying Bitcoin. Hundreds. And you start looking at Bitcoin, you say, because I'm gonna tell you from my experience, when I first started looking at Bitcoin, I looked at it as an investment. Period. But as I started to go down the rabbit hole, I realized it was much more than that. As you start peeling the layers of the onion back, you say, well, hey, it's not just an investment, it's a medium of exchange. All right? White paper says peer-to-peer transaction. So it is a medium of exchange.
And for the people that don't...
Then you say, hold on. It's not just an investment and a medium of exchange. It's a store of value. And you say, okay, you start learning more, you start reading more, and you start going deeper down the rabbit hole, and you're like, well, hold on. This is sound money. This is biblical. It's sound money.
And when it's
sound money.
White paper, people, for the people that don't like to read, right? It's videos.
You don't have to read.
You gotta read. But if you really like, if you're a visual person, because I'm a visual person and I can read, it's a movie. It's an hour long. It's called the Bitcoin movie. Watch it. It's on YouTube. Watch it.
It's a lot of good documentaries.
It's a lot of good documentaries, but that's what really woke me up. And I don't want people to get discouraged when I say, be your own bank. My goal is for you, right, to start off like this, right? I'd rather be my own bank because I understand that banks are scams. You can take that how you want it. This is not up for debate. But I think people get discouraged and be like, be my own bank. How? It's not this hard, people.
But it is for some. It is.
And I understand that there's people out there that like to be controlled, which is cool. There's people out there that like to be scammed, which is cool. There's people out there that like to be led, which is cool. But why not still purchase Bitcoin? You can do all those things and still own a piece of the pie. Just because it's 107 grand today as we speak, that's FOMO, fear of missing out. Listen, if you got a phone right now, I know 90% of the world got Cash App. I know 90% of the world got Zelle. I know 90% of, hey, listen, get off zero right now. I know you got $20 to the side. I know you do. If you don't, you got $5 to the side. $5 can get you off zero. I ain't saying stop there though. Don't just put $5 in it, turn your head. He said, no. When you invest in something, what do you give the investment first? You give it your energy. You give it your time. When you're distracted, what do you give distractions? You give distractions your energy, your time. So the things that distract you, right? Take your mind off. I know it sounds hard, but you want to be distracted later on in life broke, or you want to be rich and distracted? What's the difference? What's the difference? For real. So we want you to just get off zero, right? I ain't even trying to sit here and make it complicated. It was complicated for me at first. Don't get me wrong, it was complicated because I I knew money, but I didn't understand money. It was the difference. I just knew what money was. But once you start learning what money really does, it's the difference between what money is and what money does. That's the same simple as with a woman. It's the difference what a woman can do for you and what a woman does for you. Bitcoin is your asset. If you look at life like an asset, that's what you're investing in. Everybody out there that investing in something, whether it's Jordans, jewelry, the internet, other people's lives, you are investing nothing into something.
Every day.
Why you can't do that with Bitcoin?
Every day you wake up, you invest your time
into something.
You could be the person that invests their time in laying in the bed all day, or getting up and going to the gym and working out. But here's the thing, going back to what I was talking about and why I'm so baffled as to why people aren't interested in it, and it goes back to some of it is we distracted by too many things.
Wars.
And yeah, we distracted. And I see the same. If we don't wake up, people, champions, listen to what I'm telling you. If we don't wake up, it's gonna be the same thing over again. I'm telling you. I said Bitcoin is biblical. Like this is, man.
Once in a lifetime.
I gotta study. Like, man, I'm like, God just like downloaded this. I mean, instantly. Like, here, I'm gonna get this to my people, man. It's so biblical. It is, oh my goodness, it's sound money, and it talks about in the Bible how you shouldn't deal with unjust weights and measures. And the way our financial system is set up, it's we deal in unjust weights and measures, and that's why the people at the top, they own and control everything. Jim Rohn has this quote. He says, if you give everybody $1 million, the same 1% will eventually get all the money.
Oh.
If $1 million was given to each and every one of you that's tuning in live, okay, $1 million. I had $1 million. Block had $1 million. That same money would end up into the hands, in the pockets of the 1%. I know what I would do with $1 million. I think y'all know what we would both do with that $1 million.
It ain't buying lamb.
Yeah, we ain't going buying lamb.
That's where I'm going.
Gucci and all of that stuff.
I'm going straight to Bitcoin.
We gonna put money in our pockets. We ain't gonna make somebody else rich.
Because the object of Bitcoin, right, and this is what I want people to understand, right? You sleep. Your money sleep with you. If your money go to sleep with you, you're not making money. That ain't, and I want you to understand this, right? And I say this, I ain't saying your money actually sleep with you. A lot of people, y'all go to work for somebody else. Y'all come home. Boom. You thinking because you work for somebody else that your money is safe and secure. People, the purchasing power dead. The purchasing power of money is dead.
This is the reason why, and this is the again, I can keep going. I'm telling y'all, when I say I'm flabbergasted, my mind is blown how little interest there is in Bitcoin. My mind is blown because, again, I say it again, a lot of people have a money problem.
A lot of people
have a money problem. And listen, the people that you see driving in a nice car, looking all fresh and dolled up, some of that is a facade. Don't believe the hype. There was a song out by Public Enemy said, "Don't believe the hype." Don't believe the hype. Okay, a lot of people have a money problem, and Bitcoin fixes the money problem. Now it can fix. Let me there's a caveat to that. If your financial blueprint, how you look at money, is faulty, Bitcoin can't fix that. Because you got to fix your blueprint. You got to fix the way you look at money. If you're going out every time you get money in your pocket and you got to go spend it, right. Bitcoin can't fix that.
Why is you partying?
Okay, you got a spending fetish and money burn a hole in your pocket. Bitcoin can't fix that. But if you are the individual that is actually going out doing the right things, you working a job, 2 jobs. You're working overtime on the job to make ends meet, to try to get ahead, and you find yourself frustrated because you can't get ahead, Bitcoin fixes that for you. If you're the one that's careful with how you spend your money, and you find yourself frustrated again because you're working overtime, you're working a second job, you got a side gig to try to make ends meet, to try to get ahead. Bitcoin fixes that. What you're doing, I hate to tell you, is not going to fix that. Working a second job, working overtime, is not going to fix that. Because do you guys realize that the money that you get paid for doing these jobs, for investing your time in whatever company you work for, is being debased and devalued 2 to 3% every year? Which means the dollar that you have, it's not a dollar, it's like 97 cents. Every $100 in your bank is not $100, it's $97. So your purchasing power is getting eroded. You over here working for more money that's being debased and eroded. You see how messed up that is? You see how jacked up that is? You're going to put more hours and more time into making something that's being debased and devalued.
Y'all get what he's saying?
You understand what I'm saying?
Basically.
Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down?
You're working
harder for nothing. And so we have to get interested into finding something that we can put our money into that at the very least will at least hold its value. Now I know Bitcoin's a little volatile. We get that. Okay, and that's just one of the things that scares people.
But life is.
Life is volatile. But when you understand what Bitcoin is and how it works, it on average, year over year, goes up 28 to 29%. Year over year, on average. There's years, I've been in Bitcoin since 2018. Not saying this to brag or boast, I bought Bitcoin when it was at $4,000.
I'm 13.
Okay, so yes, I have conviction in what I hold. All right, but guess what? I ain't selling it. Even though people be like, man, when Bitcoin hit $100,000, you know how many people would have sold that and went and bought them a whip or bought them some clothes or took a vacation? I ain't sold my Bitcoin and I ain't selling it. I ain't never selling it.
Never.
I'll borrow against it, but that's a whole different thing. And I actually have.
And he just did it.
I just did it. But coming out of Vegas, learning that. But I'm not gonna sell it. And so my thing is this, boy, before I turn it over to you, is you at the very least, you should be putting your money in something that's at least going to hold its value. And Bitcoin will hold, at least, at the very least, it will hold the value that you give to a company when you trade your time. At the very least. At the very least.
And did you hear what he said, right? There's two types of, and I'm just telling you this, right? Wealthy people, right? We buy time. Poor people, they sell time. Don't let that go over your head. A lot of people, y'all sell y'all time. You know, I was like that before. Your time is the most important asset before Bitcoin. Your time is the most important asset on earth because what you do with your time brings value to your life. What you don't do with your time disvalue to your life. So you got to understand this, right? Bitcoin is the finest. Bitcoin outdoing real estate. Bitcoin about to be outdoing gold, people.
Can I go ahead?
We was taught though, right? Assets, like you can look this up. It's 7 major assets. I don't gotta tell you about it. You can look it up. It's called the Magnificent Seven, right? But this is just my conviction. This is my conviction. Since I've been in this market, I can actually say 6 figures, and I don't gotta give you no number. But to be somebody that's worth 6 figures, almost 7, right, in a matter of not even 5 years, not even, listen people, I be want to just, because it ain't bragging, it's more of a, it's like, whoa. Like, I always knew I was going to be rich. I always knew that, but this is just my conviction. I thought I was going to be rich off selling drugs. I ain't here to lie. I had the mentality where I don't want to work. I want to get rich off, and it was like, you know what, bro? Like, you got to throw that mentality. That's stinking thinking. That's stinking thinking. Like, so as I've been in my journey, like, I'm just saying, I'm a street guy. I cleaned it up. I was a street guy. I cleaned up my act. I cleaned up my money. I cleaned up my life. I cleaned up my energy. I told myself one day, where I'm gonna leave it at this. I told myself, right, how much do I value me? And I had to really ask myself that, like, how much do you value? Okay, I keep myself fresh. I stay with nice jewelry. I stay with nice cars. I stay with nice clothes. I got a nice, that's tangible. Where do you see yourself at 5 years from now, just 5 years, just 5. And I challenge everybody out there, right? You gotta adopt this mindset, especially to my people that party every weekend. What are you celebrating? Failure? Black people, white people, everybody does this, right? We celebrate at the wrong time. This ain't the time to celebrate, people. This is the time to accumulate. But once you accumulate, you dedicate. You dedicate. Time is a dedication, people. Bitcoin is a dedication. If you won't have time, patience, or discipline, this ain't the podcast for you. I changed my life, not just because of this man. I changed my life because I told myself, I no longer cherish money. I cherish time. That's the true meaning of wealth, people. It's your time. With Bitcoin, you can buy your time back. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can buy your time back.
That's important. So speaking of time, here's the thing, and I'm speaking to my black brothers and sisters on this topic. We got to stop making excuses. We like to play around in the victim Olympics and talk about how we being held back, we being discriminated against, and racism, this, but man, cut it out, man. Because for every person that was born in the hood, raised in the hood, live in the hood, that's still in the hood, there's a person that got out and became a multi-millionaire.
Period. Don't make excuses to be great.
Right? For every person that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth and came into wealth and then threw it all away and wasted their life, all right? There's a person that was born into wealth that understood the principles of wealth and understood what mom and dad did to build that wealth, and they live in their best life. So there's always people on the opposite ends of the track. There's people born into great wealth that end up throwing it all away. There's people born into this world with nothing that become something great. All right.
I was born into nothing.
And my point in this is, it's a matter of what you do with your time. Everybody got 24 hours in a day. So what you do with your 24 hours is going to move you closer to being financially healthy, spiritually healthy, physically, mentally healthy, or it's going to make you unhealthy in those areas. All right. So it all depends on what you do with your time. I get up in the morning, I spend time praying, thanking God. Then I go work on my physical health. Then I go work on my financial health. Right. And then I read, I try to learn something, work on my mental health. I'm doing that, and I'm very intentional. That's something I talk about on my channel, the 4 pillars of health. I'm very intentional about working on those 4 pillars every day with my time. Every day I'm using my time to get better spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Every day.
Because even though it's a war, people, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this, right? Even though it's a war, right? You gotta understand the biggest war starts within. It's you versus you. Listen, the biggest war you can battle is you. I know it's right there, right? That's a lot of people right there right now. Man, I wonder where I'm gonna be at in 5 years. I wonder what I'm gonna do tomorrow. A lot of people have financial problems, but at the end of the day, though, right? It starts with a thought process, just like him. I wake up every day. This is my day. I wake up, I pray. After prayer, I meditate, because I learned that prayer, like prayer, I'm asking God the question. But once I meditate, I'm answering the question. Then
getting the answer to the question.
Once I meditate, I accumulate, which is I buy. Like I buy Bitcoin every day, whether it's $5, $10, $20. Good days, $300. Some days, listen, people, I try to get rid of cash so fast where it's like, you know the statement, man, you're blowing money like it burned a hole in your pocket. Listen, money is so trash to me, it literally burns a hole in my pocket. I get rid of it so fast because it's about the key. It's not about me anymore, people. I look at my daughter, I look at my sons, and my woman, I can say, wow, damn, my woman really can retire in 5 years if she wants to. For real. My kids, my daughter, y'all know, my daughter tell y'all every morning. What she tell you every morning? What's up, world? Go buy some Bitcoin for your kids. Like, if you ain't gonna do it for you, do it for your kids. Buying them Jordans is making them more consumers than anything. You spoiling your kids, that's making them a consumer. Don't spoil your kids. If you don't spoil your kids, spoil them with Bitcoin. Spoil them with the thought process. Spoil them with the education. Educate themselves. Because at the end of the day, my son go to Deer Park. He the only kid in Deer Park that talks about Bitcoin. That's a top tier flex for me because his future bright. This is not a brag, people. Get off zero. If your car don't eat right, which one? This just me. If my car don't eat right, and I know I ain't going nowhere this weekend, that $25 I was gonna put in my tank, that's where it's going. Bitcoin, for real, people. And